I became a deputy coroner investigator because I wanted to help people in a time of need where it was going to be a very difficult time in their lives.
So we're doing a training exercise, taking the opportunity to use our personnel to do a loose line search with a skeletal scatter, and using that opportunity to walk in a line, identify items of possible evidence or bone, and pin flag them so that we can look at them a little bit closer, measure their locations, and document them as part of our scene.
It's very important for us to do the best that we can to make sure that we bring that person home.
The most evidence that we can possibly collect is going to be the best tools we have to be able to provide those answers to the families. 7 feet, 10 inches.
The 5 main responsibilities of a deputy coroner investigator include establishing cause and manner of death, scientifically identifying the decedents that fall under our jurisdiction. Once the decedent is identified, then we are responsible for notifying the legal next of kin. We're also responsible for safeguarding their property until we're able to notify next of kin. And then finally, our responsibility ends with disposition, which means we have to make sure that every decedent has a final resting place.
The last one that we went to, it was a chain, gold necklace that belonged to that person, and it was that gold necklace that that daughter longed for because it was the last piece that that parent had. We were able to return it back to them, and it meant the world to her because that was the only thing that that person had for her. One of our 5 responsibilities as a deputy coroner investigator is to make sure that we have the scientific identification of our decedent. So that means that we positively identified who we have in our morgue, so that when we tell the family, we can tell them with certainty who we have. We do fingerprints, we do dental comparison, and we also do DNA comparison for scientific means. So one of the easiest ways for us to compare and know who we have is by fingerprints, and that's the easiest way for us to get a return. My daughter is actually one of our volunteers, so she does all of the fingerprints for our decedents who were not fingerprinted in the scene.
Put it on this little box, which is the eyeless box. It's going to show, it's going to appear right here, and you can see the actual fingerprint.
Good job, Mama.
Being here at the coroner's office, I'm able to help people who don't have a voice, who can't tell us what's wrong with them. I'm able to not only help the decedents, but also their families, and be able to give them that closure that they deserve. I think the biggest thing that I've learned from my mom is having patience and being grateful for the life that you have. We see decedents every day, and you get to go home and be grateful for the people you have in your life and what you have to live for.
We received a call yesterday for a dirt bike rider who found some human remains out in the open desert. Deputies and detectives responded out to confirm if there was a scene, to confirm if they were human or a possible animal.
West of this location is where we first located a skull, and then additionally we saw a pelvis, a femur, and vertebrae.
To me, it doesn't look like all of the molars have erupted. So this is definitely weathering, this separation here. That's as good as it's gonna get. Is it somebody who wandered away? Was it someone who was possibly murdered and then dumped in the desert? Is it that lost hiker that you've been looking for the past few years? You carry that with you, so there's a little bit of an emotional burden with that. But I'm always hopeful, especially when I start to see signs that I believe that will help me in identifying the person. In this case, I can tell that this person has some dental work, because that gives me a clue that might aid me in identifying who the person is. It does have an emotional toll, but at the end of the day, it is so worth it to be able to hug a family member or know that you've closed that chapter, for their missing loved one. To be able to return them to their family is really worth its weight in gold.
We have a time?
It's 14:06.
This job is very difficult. We deal with families, individuals that are dealing with the worst day of their lives, essentially. And we are the ones providing information that's making their life the worst day of their life. Although there's not a whole lot that we can do to make things better for them. One of the things that is essential and important for the deputy coroner investigators is to be that rock for the families, to be that guiding force, to help them through this situation in life that they are dealing with.
So we came to a call where we had found a decedent in a vehicle. He came to visit someone at the property that no longer lived here. And when the residents that now live here woke up in the morning and they found the vehicle with the decedent.
My philosophy of investigation is that I need to collect all the pieces of a very complex puzzle. And I don't even know what the puzzle's supposed to look like. And then later on, I'll start putting them together.
Right now we ran the fingerprint and we came back with an identity. So we're gonna run this database so that we can notify the next of kin.
But that's what I like about it. See how fast this was?
Yeah, she's gonna be our best option. Her phone number was 96%.
Ms. Brown, my name is Dave Van Norman. I'm an investigator here in San Bernardino, California. At some point, one of the people who was living in the residence saw that somebody was sitting behind the wheel. I'm so sorry to call and tell you a thing like this. Goodbye. This man lived his entire life to this moment, to this place, and this is where it ended. And I want to know why.
If we're able to guide these families through the process without making things a little more difficult for them or helping them through it, I think that in of itself is our way of feeling a positive note in this career.
But of all the jobs, of all the things that I could have done, this one most feels like a calling.
We have approximately 230 to 250 cold case unidentified remains cases at any given time. And it is my goal that in my career or my lifetime that we can end that and be able to return all of these folks to their loved ones.
For those people who are losing their loved ones, they may be losing their only son, their only daughter. I want them to know that we're doing the best that we can to make sure that their loved one is going to be treated with the utmost respect.